Hey everybody, welcome to Jon D Podcast. I'm your host, Jon D Miller. Welcome to episode number 69, everybody. Number 69, numero 69. In the old Espanol language, that's right. 1,281 and going on 1,282 days now as I begin to record this of no booze. No booze, yeah. No booze. How are yees? How are yous? How are y'alls? Thank you to everybody who listened to the last couple of episodes. 68 with Patrick McCarthy, 67 with Daryl Purvis, 61 with Patrick Logan. All nice numbers. I know Patrick was back in, February, I think, something like that. But yeah, you guys are digging this guest thing, and I get it. You don't want to sit here and listen to me prattle on about things, whatever they might be. But you know, that's okay, and I understand that. But yeah, that was awesome. Great feedback, new subscribers, good listens, new social media followers. It was awesome. You need to check out, actually, I was going to give you an update. Patrick McCarthy, who the storyboard animator from Family Guy, just released some of his initial looks at a project that he's been working on himself. It's his own idea. It's called Paraland, and it's like a comedy fantasy animated show, and it looks really cool, and I'm very happy for him, and super cool dude. It was great to have him on. Check him out, Patrick McCarthy Animations. And now, as I said, here on episode 69, I'm here by myself, which is okay. I'm not really upset about it because I have several episodes of material, of content, if you will, that I need to go back over and sort of talk about that. I don't want to say loose ends or, I don't know, some dangling participles, if you will, that of stuff that I've talked about and I haven't been able to because I've done a couple guest episodes. And then, of course, fully and admittedly, been like a month since last episode came out with Patrick McCarthy. Did that episode. I went on vacation. I came back. Did a show last week at a place called the Reveler Experiences in Richmond. The place is very eclectic, very oddly decorated inside, but it's really interesting. And Sammy Tamimi, my buddy Sammy, had me on the show and met some comics from DC. I hadn't met a new batch of them in a long time, which was actually pretty cool. Some of the up-and-comers, the ones who were working around, because that's where I started. I knew a lot of people in the circuit up there back in the day when I started, which was late 90s, early 2000s. So that was really cool. Had a really good time. And then I turned around and went to a couple of mics and ate shit. So, I mean, that's comedy, though, for you. I was talking to a younger comic the other day. He's done really well sometimes, but he said the same thing, right? He was like, dude, I've just been, I have some shows I've been doing, I just crush it, and other shows I don't. And I said, well, that's a whole myriad of reasons why you're not crushing it every single time. Now, a lot of that could be setting. It could be, what jokes are you doing? That would be the first one. But it just reminded me, I guess is my point, is that's how comedy is. It's cyclical. Like it goes up and down. You'll be crushing. And then you just have a bad show. And it's like, boom. And then you kind of just start to build back up over time. And so I guess I was building to that show at Reveler and having a great time there, which I did. That place was amazing. Awesome sound system. Really, it was actually really good. Yeah, so I guess maybe that was my peak. And then I would boom, and now I'm building back up. Yeah, so been doing that and then work. Okay, so some of the stuff that I've talked about, though, and I got to touch on this, is I had talked about Pauly Shore wanting to make a biopic or he is making a biopic about Mr. Richard Simmons, who I've been a fan of since I was a kid. Never been an exercise kind of a guy. I actually, it's funny, here at 50 years old, I'm about the same body shape that I was when I was 11. I think. Anyways, I was good for a minute. I had about a decade. 20 years, but I did at one point in my 20s, man. And but I was always a fan of Richard Simmons. Just him as the character, I don't know. I just thought he was a funny person. Pauly Shore made the movie called The Court Jester. which was a short film. You could find it on YouTube called The Court Jester. Pauly Shore. You look it up. It's a bunch of places. I would, hey, put a link in the show notes. I don't need to. You have the internet. You're listening to this. You know what to do, which is a great film. I don't know if you've watched it or not, but it was actually really good. I don't want to give it away in case nobody's seen it, but and if you have seen it, you'll agree. I really like the TV personality that they had somebody playing, doing the character. It was really good. It wasn't quite there, as far as looks, it just resembled enough. But the impression was really good. I don't know who they had playing that TV personality, but their impression was pretty spot on. Since I've last talked about it, there was the unfortunate passing of Mr. Richard Simmons, which sucks, right? He didn't want the movie made, but they were going to make it anyways. But what an iconic person he was, and I really want to see this movie even more now. So, I don't know. I mean, he had protested the movie being made just the way other people did. For instance, Jim Carrey made Man in the Moon, right? When he was in that, and the people who made that movie. People protested when they made Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash story. From different places of thing. It wasn't just his first wife who had said, oh, they portrayed her in the movie terribly. People who, the family of June Carter, or people of, other different fames. People of, Elvis. People who like Elvis were talking about how they had him as a, druggie and whatever. People are going to get upset whenever you make something. That's just the way it works, okay? Anytime you make a movie about a famous person. I mean, they're making a movie about Ronald Reagan. That NASCAR... My kid, NASCAR nut that he is, informed me that Ty Gibbs is going to have an ad on his car for the Reagan movie coming up. I don't know when it's coming out, but they have, apparently it's called Reagan. Wow, that's imaginative. What they should call it is, well, I don't really know. That's my terrible. When I was a kid, I did a pretty decent Reagan impression because that was my original stand-up. Was my dad. And my mom, they were separated, but they had different families, but or different places. But they would have parties. They would have people over, and I would do an impression, or I would sit there and just that was where I first kind of started out doing jokes. But I'm just saying, they're making a Ronald Reagan movie. I bet you, well, I don't know, but I bet you money that there's going to be something in that movie, people who like or family of Ronald Reagan or whatever. I'm just saying, could happen. Are going to go, no, this is not the way it happened. This is not appropriate or whatever. But my point is, you're going to piss somebody off every time somebody makes a movie about someone. That's just the way it's going to work. So rest in peace to Mr. Richard Simmons. I would like to see this movie, and I think nobody is better to play Richard Simmons than Mr. Pauly Shore. Okay, you have my blessing, Pauly. I, of course, extend an invitation to you. You're not going to do it, but if you ever did, I'm telling you, man, I'd love to hear your side of it. What you think? I think Pauly Shore is going to do a great job. I know. Listen to me talking like I live in fucking Hollywood or some shit. Oh my God, John, you get one guest that lives in LA and works in Hollywood type stuff. Anyways, I want to see that movie. All right. So I wanted to get to this. Speaking of Hollywood, people passing away. One of my favorite comics, and I loved him on Big Bang Theory, of course, but I liked his stand-up and all of his jokes from when I was a child, and that is Mr. Bob Newhart. I was extremely sad to hear about his passing. I liked Mr. Newhart's his material from when he was a kid. I liked his shows, both of them. First one where he played the psychiatrist, I saw that in syndication, but I watched a lot of the one Newhart, the one where he had what was it, a bed and breakfast? Is that what it was? And they had those guys, Larry. He's like, I'm Larry. This is my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl. I watched that one a lot. I used to watch it when it was airing. I know, I'm that old. But also, when I was a kid, I had gotten a copy of one of his records, some of his stand-up and his comedy, where it was just him, and he would do the phone conversations. And I advise you, if you want to, learn something about Bob Newhart, maybe you didn't know this about him. He actually had comedy shows he did, and he would do these one-sided telephone conversations where it would be him, and then he would, talk so you could know what the other person on the other line, quote unquote, was saying. Well, one of my favorites he ever did was the one where it's a security guard's first night on duty at the Empire State Building, and he has to call his boss at home, like on his first night, and explain to him that there's a giant monkey climbing the side of the Empire State Building. Of course, that being King Kong. It's so good. It's so good, man. He talks about, I went and got a broom. I tried to, push it out of there. It was pretty funny, and I enjoyed those a lot. Rest in peace to Mr. Bob Newhart. Oh, I know. I loved his dry, deadpan delivery. I'd be lying if I don't sometimes write a joke and think about, I put a little bit of that Bob Newhart in there, just a little. And anybody who's seen my comedy over the years, there might be some jokes in there where you might see a little. I know, I'm not trying to hack the dude, but I've gone back and listened to it over the years, and I'm like, there's a little bit of that there. There's a little bit. So let's take a break. I don't know what the sponsors are going to be. There's supposed to be somebody else coming on board. It's a website company. Not a website company. They're a website-based company, web-based company. No, it's not Amazon. They haven't gotten me all my information yet. I know. This is the longest parlay into a commercial break I think anybody's ever seen or heard. Make sure you follow me on social media, Jon D Comedy, Jon D Podcast on Twitter. That's right, suck it, Elon. Jon D Podcom on Instagram and Threads. Jon D Podcast on Facebook. And you can write the show, jondpodcom@gmail.com. And after the commercial, we'll have I'm going to have something to tell you about. And a lucky listener, well, not lucky, they did something that I asked them to. And they got a little, speaking of Amazon, actually, a second ago. They got some out of that. So, all right. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay. Stick around. More Jon D Podcast right after this. When I quit booze for good, one thing I learned was to always keep your palate entertained. And one of my new favorite ways to make it happen is BlendJet 2. BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even an NA margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease. BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking up the whole house. Lasts for 15 plus blends and recharges quickly via USB-C. Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you're good to go. With over 30 plus colors and patterns to choose from, there's a BlendJet 2 to complement just about any style. What are you waiting for? Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today. And be sure to use the promo code JOHNDPOD12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to the quality, power, and innovation of the BlendJet 2. They guarantee you'll love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with BlendJet 2 Portable Blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code JOHNDPOD12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today and get the best deal ever. BlendJet 2. And welcome back to part 2 of episode 69 of Jon D Podcast. I'm your host, Jon D Miller. So congratulations to George B. from Gwinnett, Georgia, who, what he did was, he listened to the episode. Hey, George, what's up, man? And he listened to the episode, a solo episode. This does not count for guests, okay? But if you find the show title, wherever it is in the episode, you put the minute mark, send me an email, jondpodcom@gmail.com. If you do that, and you're the first one to do it, or maybe I'll do a drawing. I did it last time when George did it, and I'm only doing one of these. So if you email and I don't, and you're not the first person, I'm not doing 100 of these fucking things. Point being, what happened was George from Gwinnett, Georgia, and I asked him, I said, can I say where you're from? And he said, you can say Georgia. And then he said, no, you can say, I'm from Gwinnett, Georgia. So he sent in the minute mark, and when he did that, I sent him a $10 gift card from Amazon. Yeah. He sent me his email address, blah, 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 and it went through. I don't know what he bought with the $10 from Amazon. He said he was going to buy something for his daughter. That's yours. Do with it as you will, George. Thanks for playing along, participating, whatever the term is I'm looking for. Yeah, it's really cool. I kept telling people to do this. I don't expect to get it very much. But yeah, you can get a $10 Amazon gift card. Put the minute mark and shoot me an email, jondpodcom@gmail.com. Title of the episode, not including guest episodes. If you're the first one, And the winner is the only person. Yay. All right. Where am I going now? What else do I have to tie up here? So, need to talk about this because it hasn't happened. Last time I talked about hockey, my NHL, love my NHL. Last time I talked about it was with Daryl Purvis on episode 67 during the Stanley Cup final, which I predicted to go to Edmonton in 7 games. That did not happen. It did go 7, though. I thought I was going to actually call it completely correct for once. I didn't have the whole playoff tree exactly right. I did in the Eastern Conference. Western Conference, I did not. I have Vancouver instead of Edmonton. And then at the end, I picked Edmonton going 7. It was 3 games to none. Florida was up. Edmonton won 3 games in a row and then got to game 7 and just looked like they had literally nothing left. So I guess congratulations to the Florida Panthers. Congratulations to Matt W., who's a listener who wrote in. But yeah, they won. They got it. Bobrovsky got it, which now he can be a Hall of Famer. A lot of people were mad because of Tkachuk getting it, but there was players on both sides I wanted to see win it and players on both teams that I did not want to see win it. And, you know, that just happens when you follow sports. You know, especially when you follow them and you know about players and you know about their past. You follow the game. You know what happens week to week, day to day, at least to a certain point. Or you're going to form opinions of people. Animosity and dislike for certain players is going to happen. And that's definitely happened to me. And it's definitely happened to, I think, everybody. I don't care what the sport is. You could be watching pickleball. You're like, I don't like that lady. Yeah, she's always talking shit. It's the National Pickleball Championship on ESPN Ocho. But that was the longest from beginning day to ending day of the entire season, including playoffs, in NHL history. Yeah. They didn't really take that much time off. I mean, I know there was some time in the playoffs, which I agree with doing that. Like, they had a good, almost solid week before the Cup finals began. So, Cup final began. My kid was asking me the other day, actually, he was saying, Dad, you know, Ovi has 42 goals, 42 goals short of Wayne Gretzky's record. But he was saying, like, do I think Ovi's going to break it this year? No, I do not. I think he'll break it next year. And then he's going to retire. Like, literally, I was telling the kid, I think he's literally going to, I mean, it could be November. He's going to, like, let's say he gets 30 this year. He needs 13 to break it next season. And he's going to go out there. He's going to go out there and just, or whatever the number is. He's going to tie it. He's going to get one more. And then he's literally just going to take all of his shit off and just leave. I'm out of here, babes. Bye. But no, I don't think he's going to get this year. I think next year. He should already be there about to or broken it. So it goes. Dude doesn't get injured very often. So I think the last thing I want to cover as far as going over some of the old stuff, of course, one of my favorite things to talk about is Star Wars and the announcement, the official announcement, which literally came out just a couple of days ago, that the Acolyte Season 2 not happening. I think it's been long enough I can talk about this in an aspect of, I'm not really trying to give away any spoilers, but at the same time, I'm going to talk about it. It's been a while since the last episode actually came out and aired. The Acolyte, I liked some of what it was, but it didn't give much. Yes, some of the choreography and the fight scenes was crazy, and there was a bunch of stuff in there to like. I don't know. It just sort of didn't have, I don't know, it never pulled me into it. But at the same time, there were things I liked. And I would like to have seen another season. I would like to have seen a season 2, especially at the end when they teased Darth Plagueis, and then now there's nothing. Like, well, what the fuck? But I think it's sort of callous and short-sighted of Disney, in my opinion, to have made this decision to cancel it now. I think that they should do a second season. Because I watched 8 goddamn episodes of that thing. That's the other part of it. I watched eight episodes. I don't know how long it added up to. I don't even care. It's 8 episodes. With the way it ended and everything. I would say the storyline, I give it an average score. I would say for the acting, I mean, there was some parts that I was like, Jesus, this is terrible. This is really, really fucking terrible. And then other times, I thought it was pretty good. That was all right. So, I don't know. But now we don't get that. We don't get a Kenobi season 2. I mean, if nothing else, if you're not, tell the people, look, we might give you a second season on this. We may not. We don't know. So make it where we don't have to or something. Like, don't leave people standing there looking at the sunset, holding hands with and then something to come. You know what I mean? Just don't leave that there. Unless you plan to do something else. They did it with with Rey. They had her standing on Tatooine, look at the sun, but there with BB-8, hanging, chilling. And that was it. But they're making more Rey movies. Perfect. There you go. Don't give us these open-ended series, these things that happen and then just nothing. Oh, well, you're not getting to see how that ends, right? I don't like that. I'm not Sheldon Cooper as far as my OCD goes, but this is going to bug me for a while. And it's going to bug me about Disney doing this for a while, They're the one who keeps starting these projects and then ending them because they're going to shit. Like we were supposed to get Rogue Squadron, never got that, Keep canceling all this stuff. Well, put people in there who fucking know what they're doing then. I don't know what. I'm so glad they put Dave Filoni in charge of stuff. But he's trying to fix things. I don't know why he decided. Did he make the decision to not move forward with the Acolyte? Maybe he could fix it. Who owns the rights to this stuff? That's what I'm saying. They did all this stuff with the Solo movie. They took out those other two dudes and they put in Ron Howard. He took it over. And, it came out all right. I loved Solo. Thought it was a great movie. But that was my opinion on the series, The Acolyte. I'd like to have seen it turned into something else, or at least another season. Come on. Now we're just SOL. I feel like, at first I was excited about Disney taking over because they're making things, and I'm still excited about that in many aspects, but the way that they're starting to do things now, they put things out and they take it away like it's a major, you know what I mean? Where's the fucking night court of your TV, of your series, Disney? Where's the ones that are not necessarily as big as your main ones? These other shows, maybe, but the ones that are still known and they're still good, but maybe they're not as popular as other ones are. Where's the night courts? It's like you're not even trying. Maybe the feedback was just that harsh. I don't know. Maybe somebody was getting threats, or I don't know. I know Star Wars fans shouldn't be doing that, but people take their shit pretty seriously. I've seen people get into physical altercations over Star Wars stuff. I'm not even gonna lie. I was at a party one time, and these two dudes, I didn't even know what the fuck they were arguing about. It started as a Star Wars thing, and it ended up being a physical altercation. There's no punching though. They were Star Wars nerds. They were just kind of, but yeah, it's, what are you gonna do? With Kenobi, we did know that was supposed to be a limited run series, but and then social media took over and the general public kind of took over, and they said, no, you should make more of these, and they were like, well, we hadn't really planned on it. We only meant to do the 6 things, and then and then actors in this, people would start going, I'll do it again. I'll come back. Yeah, I got Ewan McGregor's like, yeah, I'll do it. I would have liked to see, for instance, Kenobi go off with Qui-Gon Jinn and when he's doing the ghost stuff. That'd been cool. Like, he didn't stay. I want to see what happened. How did he age so much in 10 years? Right? Because you got to admit, Ewan McGregor at the end of, in Kenobi, I get it. They tried to age him a little bit. He did age a little bit. But he's got what, 10, 12 years before he's got to come back looking like an old, weak dude? What the hell happened to Obi? Did he party himself into looking like that? Because that'll happen. I'm just saying. I'm not sure how I can explain it better than that. I know that some people, when they go out and they do the heavy stuff a lot, it'll age them. It'll age them a little bit. All right. I guess we'll see what happens. All right. I guess that's all for now. We'll see. If you got any opinions about that, let me know. Okay? Yeah. Leave a comment. Whatever. If you like the episode, make sure you like, subscribe, download, tell your friends, leave a review if you wouldn't mind on Apple Podcasts or wherever, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. Good Pods, which is also a great place to listen. I got to get going though. All right. Don't forget your charities, okay? Or our charities. The charities that we support. No Kid Hungry. Many school-age children are in situations where the best meal of the day for them comes from school. No Kid Hungry helps children with meals when children in need are away from school, such as weekends and holidays. So No Kid Hungry. Wounded Warrior Project. The brave men and women who have served our country deserve the best care we can give them after they return home. Some of them have wounds that are external and or internal that they might need help with, or even with just accessible housing. Wounded Warrior Project. Bestfriends.org is making a difference by helping homeless dogs and cats in shelters be adopted faster and in more numbers. Their goal is to have the entire country no-kill shelters by the year 2025. Check out those charities if you can. There's links on the main page for the show, or any other charities that might be in your local area. Okay. And after all that charity, if you got time for a little charity, you can support the show through our official listener support app, Venmo, at Jon D Podcom. Don't forget, Twitter, Jon D Podcast, Jon D Comedy. That's right, I said Twitter. Suck it, Elon. Write to me, jondpodcom@gmail.com. Facebook, Jon D Podcast, and Jon D Podcom on Instagram and Threads. Thanks to executive producers Tom Hancock and Liz Miller for doing what they do. This episode was recorded and produced by yours truly, Jon D Miller, in the Amber Tree Media Studio. Don't forget BlendJet. Should be what the sponsor was. Jon D Pod 12, your code, 12% off and free 2-day shipping. You're probably going to have to be getting that while it still lasts. All right, I guess that's it. This has been episode 69, numero 69 of Jon D Podcast. I've been your host, Jon D Miller. All right? Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and until next time, with a guest. Later for you.